What is up, guys? How's it going? Ryan here, back with you again for another episode of the Morning Coffee, episode number 43 for May 21st, 2019. Morning, guys. I hope that everyone is doing well out there in the audio and YouTube and Twitchverse. Just kind of wanted to before we really start this episode out or whatever, just wanted to kind of say that I do apologize for no episode coming out recently. The issue with that is that we've had just a very hectic week last week. I do apologize for that we did not have an episode, I believe, last Thursday. Just a very hectic week with everything going on. Everything's good, just a little too busy to record and stuff like that. And didn't want to, bring that negativity or bring that type of stress to the podcast. So that being said, we are back and we are back on a regular schedule, which is super, super nice. I do apologize for anyone who's watching on video. I don't know what is with my webcam or my audio setup and stuff like that, but it's super, super blown out, which really sucks. But I don't know if there's anything that we can really do about that. I don't know why. Usually it's really fine, and today it's just been really, really bad. So I do apologize for that if there is some stumbling over my words to try to fix some type of stuff or any pauses or edits in this podcast more than usual, I should say. That being said, before we really get started, as always, just wanted to let you know that you do check your episode description of the podcast if you haven't already, or if you aren't already listening, you can check us out on Spotify and iTunes, as well as in our episode description now, we have linked our other podcasts, which are on Spotify and iTunes as well. If you think that you like this podcast or enjoy this podcast, you can go check out a number of other podcasts that are on our network as well. So, go and check those out. Anyway, guys, let us just jump right into the news. So we have a handful of articles that we are going to go over. Hopefully that they're pretty informative. I thought they were a good mixture of PSAs and just other little announcements. So kind of to start things off, very, very simple. We have a couple of very short articles, but the first one is that the popular free-to-play Nintendo Switch game Tetris 99 is getting paid DLC that introduces offline mode. So it's a new paid DLC. Big Block is available today, and it adds multiple offline modes and more. So it is $10 though, and you will be getting marathon mode and CPU battle mode for now. The modes are though playable offline, which might entice some people to be able to play them or whatever. Keep in mind also that this is already passed, but there are tournaments now that are being held for Tetris 99. There was the Maximus Cup, which began on May 17th, and you get points for the match you play regardless how you finish. Those who get 100 points or more will receive a new theme modeled after the original Game Boy, and it goes until May 19th. So if you guys don't know what Tetris 99 is, it is the free-to-play, quote-unquote free-to-play Battle Royale Tetris game from Nintendo. I say quote unquote free to play because the game does, you have to buy a 12-month or a 1-month or 3-month Nintendo online subscription to download the game. So it's not entirely free. That is their version of Xbox Live or PSN. But Nintendo's is pretty cheap at about $20 a year, which is super, super nice. Or I believe $24.99 if you want to get multiple people to be able to play it online as well from your Nintendo Switch with various profiles. So it is a free-to-play game, but really it's not because you already had to put down the money for the online services. I guess to be fair, you won't just be playing those or whatever as well. So highly recommend it. It's the only way currently now to play Nintendo games online. Unfortunately, it also is not that very good as Nintendo servers are pretty bad. But I decided to put down the $20 because we are getting like Super Mario Maker 2 and like other, games as well that will go online, including this. But if you guys want to pay an additional $10, you will be able to get offline mode for Tetris 99, which is, in my opinion, a little too pricey for it. But if you are a super fan of Tetris as well, then go for it. Also, as I stated earlier, there is online tournaments, quote unquote. Really, all these tournaments they're not for prize money or anything like that. But if you're able to score 100 points, not really sure how that scoring system works. You will be able to win like new themes and stuff like that for your Tetris 99 games as well. So it's some little added bonus of some fun stuff that you'll be able to do within Tetris 99. So if you don't already, highly recommend downloading the game. It's pretty fun. I'm not that great at Tetris, and I've thoroughly enjoyed the game for sure. Next up on the list, another kind of quick PSA, but Fortnite and PUBG Apex is coming to mobile. Almost forgot about this, but yeah, let's just read down the article real quick. Apex Legends is already hugely popular on multiple consoles, and now it's coming to a new platform, a new market. Electronic Esports report confirmed that it will be launching Apex Legends next in China. They said they're hugely excited about the future of Apex Legends. Engagement is strong, and we have big plans for the Legends and the world they compete in. We're in advanced negotiations to bring Apex Legends to China and, of course, mobile. We will update you on timeframes when those negotiations are concluded. Apex Legends coming to mobile is no big surprise, as the mobile game market is massive. It represents another way for EA to make money. In Korea, another major market for games, Wilson pointed out that EA is self-publishing Apex Legends there. So yeah, in Korea, it will only be a mobile game built from the ground up, basically. They said that the game reached 50 million players and that almost 30% of Apex Legends players are new to EA. If you guys didn't know, Apex Legends kind of went through kind of a weird, rough transition when it came to just the game being launched in general, I should say. Remember that this was a game where, we found out later that really it was just supposed to help the install base of the game and to promote other games like Anthem, which Anthem did really, really, really bad. From BioWare, which unfortunately means that's two flops from that studio that have done very, very poorly. Apex Legends did really good. It took off really fast, and then it kind of teetered and lost a lot of viewership. We've talked about this on this podcast as well as other various podcasts as well. And you need to remember the fact that it may not be because of Apex or whatever, but it could also be because of games like Fortnite, where they're coming out with updates and releases just super, super fast and super, super consistently all the time. Every 2 weeks, there seems to be a major patch in that game, and it just could just be that, other games are just churning out content faster. They said that they also will detail Season 2 will be announced at the EA Play event in June, which, if you guys didn't know, in June is E3, and the Electronic Entertainment Expo in Los Angeles, California. So that will be another way for you guys to get passes and stuff like that and check out what that will be. They'll probably announce some other stuff as well. If Apex Legends is still relevant, which I'm assuming it will be. Doesn't have a huge market, but it does have a market niche nonetheless. We also have yet to hear anything, though, also about the esports scene. So we will see what ends up happening. Take a drink of my coffee here. We can continue. Next up, another U.S. senator has introduced a bill that would ban the sale of loot box in games played by minors. So this has happened a couple of times before, so this is nothing like too new, but just something to keep on the radar, and that will be a story that we definitely continue to update you guys with and inform you guys about for sure in the coming months. But U.S. Senator Josh Hawley announced he is introducing a bill that would potentially bar the sale of loot boxes in certain video games. If enacted, the bill called the Protecting Children from Abusive Game Acts would ban loot boxes and pay-to-win microtransactions in titles targeted at or popular among minors, liking the business model to addiction. It said social media and video games prey on user addiction, siphoning our kids' attention from the real world and extracting profits from fostering compulsive habits. No matter this business model's advantages to the tech industry, one thing is clear: there is no excuse for exploiting kids through such practices. When a game is designed for kids, game developers shouldn't be allowed to monetize addiction. He cites that the popular mobile title Candy Crush as an example, as it allows players to purchase a $150 ludicrous bundle to make the game easier. Though it's certainly far from the only title to offer these kind of spending options, a large number of mobile games are designed to encourage microtransactions, and many of today's most popular PC and console games, including PUBG, Rocket League, and Overwatch, give players options to purchase loot boxes that contain a random assortment of cosmetic items. It will need to pass the Senate and the House before potentially becoming law, but this isn't the first time U.S. lawmakers. Last February, Hawaii State Representative Chris Lee put forward a bill. Other countries have also undertaken it. Ireland, Germany, Sweden, Denmark, Australia, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom determined that loot boxes do not constitute gambling. So we'll end up having to see that. And they said parents already have the ability to limit or prohibit in-game purchases with easy-to-use parental controls. So I guess my simple take on this or whatever is a couple of things. The statement that the senator made and examples that he gave out was very strange to me, right? He claims that the bill is going to be banning loot boxes and pay-to-win microtransactions targeted at popular kids. So I don't really understand the loot box thing, in my personal opinion. They're cosmetics. I feel like as long as they don't impact the gameplay of the game, they're perfectly fine. If you want to go out and spend $50 on cosmetics to make your character look pretty, by all means, go for it. But what my issue is when it comes to like pay to win microtransaction type of games where you pay where there's a clear advantage. I feel like that for me, even personally, is more tempting to do than say cosmetic loot boxes. If I could just pay $10 to get a 7-8 hour advantage over other players and then be able to just play the game how it's intended to be played right out of the box, that seems to be more tempting for me personally than cosmetic loot boxes, though I haven't been any type of like hardcore cosmetic spender as well. So for me, it's interesting that he gives these examples of games where there's just cosmetic loot boxes, which are perfectly fine. And also, I think it also comes down to a parenting thing as well, like he said in the article, or what other people said in the article as well. You are able to control spending limits and stuff like that on your mobile devices if you want to. You can make sure that there's no credit card attached to the game or to the file of the game if you really want to when it comes to spending stuff for your kids' consoles or tablets or phones, depending on how old they are and stuff, etc. So for me, that makes perfect sense or whatever. My daughter has a couple of games, Hearthstone, Fortnite, a couple of games that she does play. I have access to those accounts. I don't put my credit card information on them at all or whatever. If she wants an item, which she hasn't yet, luckily, I can always just gift her and stuff, so there's no issue in that. The only thing that this would really affect are card game models. We're talking about Magic the Gathering, Hearthstone, any type of digital card game, because those really are pay to win. But the thing is, we do have a real world comparison to it, right? We have Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, baseball cards, and stuff like that, which are also pretty profitable type of market as well. We saw China and Asia and other regions across the world getting around this, right? Where in Asia, for example, when you can buy 50 dust and just get 50 packs for free. So you're buying the dust, you're not technically buying the loot boxes, etc., etc., etc. So there are ways to get around it. It will be interesting to see where this legislation goes for anti-loot box legislation or whatever. But yeah, I think a lot of it just has to be that parents need to be more informed or whatever and be more controlling on their kids' accounts. I don't see why if you're letting your kid use your device or play with your device, I don't think that they would be playing with it or utilizing it enough for where they shouldn't be, where they are accidentally or tempted enough to buy a $150 type of bundle or some type of microtransaction. And if they have their own device, just don't add your credit card information or PayPal information to it. If they're old enough to have a job and stuff like that, then so be it. They need to learn, managing those type of money and time skills as well. But that's just my opinion. Last article in the game is something that I thought was really, really funny. But if you guys didn't know, the World of Warcraft Classic Beta is currently out. You can level up to level 30, and then that's about it. The game is going to be fully released August 27th of this year, which is really, really cool. If you guys don't know what Classic Beta or Classic WoW is World of Warcraft. It's an MMORPG, and they are coming out with basically the original base game, which they call Vanilla, which is a 1 through 60 leveling type of experience. They said that, there's also going to be a couple of stress tests. I believe one of the stress tests is going to be tomorrow, where anyone will be allowed to log in and play the game as well, which is, I think, happening from like 4 to 8 p.m. or something tomorrow as well. But they said that they had to make a blue post because the following list of commonly reported gameplay is not actually a bug. So I thought this was really, really funny, because it's been 15 years since this game came out, and they are just finally coming out the classic beta, and some people have never played the game before or whatever, but they had to come out because it's a beta. You're able to report bugs at any given time, and it's just really funny that some of the bugs: torn hitboxes, melee reach is slightly bigger than other races, right? Creature respawn rates are much slower. NPCs which offer multiple quests may inconsistently display them as a dot or an eye on available quest lists. They were inconsistent, and we reproduced the exact inconsistency back then. Available quests do not display a question mark on the mini map. Just stuff like that, where people have been reporting bugs because of the way that the game was utilized and played back in the day, which I think is pretty funny. That there's like so many games where the people don't realize that the game has changed and stuff like that, and been utilized to something like completely different. But yeah, guys. Anyway, that is going to be it for this episode of The Morning Coffee. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and stuff. And I do hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Before we go, as always, you can check us out on Spotify and iTunes, as well as check out our other podcasts that we have on the network. We have 3 more podcasts that we do besides this one as well, which is really, really, really good podcast as well. If you want something a little longer, then go and check out those podcasts for sure. Those links will be in the episode description below. As always, you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, or Instagram at Ryan Kubo, RyanKubo, or you can check us out on YouTube, which is Shigeos, that's Shigeos, Twitch TV. Anyways, thank you so much for hanging out today, and I will see you guys on Thursday morning for another episode of The Morning Coffee. Take care, guys.